So here we have the Bachmann GG-1 without its shell on. And what this is getting today is Loksound, which you can see the decoder right here. And it's also getting dual speakers. So there's a cube here, which is slightly smaller than the one that's placed up front. Nice thing about Loksound is, of course, you can run the 4 ohm load. So running 2 speakers brings it down to a 4 ohm load. So each one of these is 8 ohms. So that should produce a pretty good sound. This is probably one of the easiest installs that you can possibly do in almost any engine. I have it removed right now, but under here is where the 8-pin NMRA plug is, and you just simply remove the bypass plug that's there. This Loksound decoder already had an 8-pin connector, and it's just plugged in there, and I used a little bit of 2-sided tape to kind of have it something to mount to there. Gives you a little bit better idea. But super easy. Now I don't have the sound file loaded on it just yet. This is actually a decoder I pulled out of one of my Dash 9s just to do this one. It's obviously the wrong sound file, but we'll correct that here in a bit. This is very easy to get to. Pretty much the only thing you do to take the shell off of these is there's 4 screws, 2 on each side, and they're accessible from the bottom. All you do is you just undo those screws and you can pull the shell right off. Pretty much plug in your decoder. The only real soldering you have to do is just to the speaker. You don't even really have to solder anything else. So we'll put the shell back on and load the sound file and see how it is. So I got it all back together. Didn't have too much trouble putting it back together. There was a little part back by the decoder where it was kind of binding up a little bit on one of the drives. So I just had to move the decoder a little bit closer towards the front of the shell. And visually, it's just an amazing looking engine. So next, let's take a look at the sounds here. And that's really about it for all the sounds that it has. Now, it does make a really cool sound when you first put it into drive here. And we'll shut it down. So there you have it. So to wrap it up in closing there, this is a locomotive that I bought for about $100. It comes with the DCC from Bachmann. Now, a lot of times these models have been criticized, and there's been many reviews on the GG-1 on the internet, and I think most of them have been a little bit unfair, as they sort of blame these as running badly, when really they don't. The whole problem with this model is the decoder itself. There is no problem with the drivetrain on this. It is super quiet. It's able to run slow speed, but it can't do any of that with the factory decoder that comes on these. The blue box ones here, like this one, have a non-sound decoder. The red box ones have a Soundtracks decoder. They're a little bit better. They're not nearly as bad as these, but I don't really prefer to use the Soundtracks versions at all myself. I think this combination works best in just simply getting the model, removing the decoder that's in it, which is pretty easy to do. You just unplug the 8-pin decoder that's in there, and then you put in a Loksound, and this sounds way better than the Soundtracks file anyway. So, excellent performance, already has LEDs built in, great drivetrain, obviously pretty good pulling power. It was hauling a 27 car long coal train here, which isn't the easiest thing for a lot of locomotives, and it was doing it with ease. So I have little doubts that it would be able to handle a pretty big passenger train, because this is a passenger engine. Some of these did haul freight, usually not in the Tuscan scheme. Those usually were the Brunswick Green scheme, which I don't have any of yet, but I do plan on getting some more of these. Really, really love this model. I think it's excellent. Can't beat it for the price. Really, the only GG-1 that would probably perform better would be the MTH, which typically you can't really find for under $300. With everything that's put into this one, it comes out a little under $200, so it's pretty big savings there. Some of these I've even found. I have another silver one. It's the Congressional scheme that I got on eBay for about 54 bucks. So, I mean, you can't really beat that at all. And putting a Loksound in there along with the speakers, you're talking about $100. So you're still beating it pretty well on price. And I don't really know that the MTH is really worth more than $100 better than this one at minimum. But you can decide that. But just wanted to put this info out there on how to do this and what the GG-1 Loksound file sounds like, and it's pretty good. So no complaints here, and we'll move on to some other projects here shortly. Getting in the first stages of actually kind of laying things out on what I do want to do here with the actual layout. So that'll be getting built hopefully soon, but we'll see. So long for this one.